Welterweight bout here. Another couple of, or not a couple, but Matt Brown plus 190. Court McGee minus 190. Couple of older guys coming in here. 38 years old for McGee. 42 years old for Matt Brown. Over under 2.5 rounds. Minus 160 for the over. Plus 160 for the under. Both guys 2-3 in their last 5. And a plethora of experience. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to pick a side here because both guys are older. And, that kind of might offset itself a little bit. And Court McGee coming off of that devastating knockout loss to Jeremiah Wells. But up until that point, Court McGee had been pretty damn durable throughout his career in the UFC. I mean, it's not like he was getting chinned by a bunch of people and getting put down all the time. But Jeremiah Wells just has exceptional power, and taking that knockout loss, I don't know if I'm quite ready to say that Court McGee's chin is gone or lacking or anything. And Matt Brown, the immortal, he fought like it against Diego Lima and then lost to Brian Barberena by split decision. So, I mean, he was in that fight. So, Court McGee, though, I do think is going to have the slight advantage on the ground if it gets there, and I do see it kind of going there at some point. I think Court McGee will probably be the busier fighter too. And on the ground, McGee can sink in a submission too. He's pretty slick on the ground. Matt Brown, I all last week looking at this card when I was going through it, I wanted to get to him, and I kept watching his past fights. But you go to the records, man, he's got so many losses lately, just to a couple of wins. Whereas Court McGee, hold on, let me pull it back up. I exited out on exit. Court McGee had two fight win streak before that Jeremiah Wells fight, and they gave him this young, hungry kid. So I don't know, man. Watching these two side by side, it just feels like Court McGee might have a little bit left in the tank. I'm going to rock with him on Saturday, but definitely not a fight I'm confident to lay my money on by any means, because I feel like in this fight too, you're going to see one of these guys maybe lose a step since the last time they've been out, just because they both are right around that 40-year-old mark. So if I have to pick a guy, I'm going to go Court McGee, but probably won't be laying any money on it.
Yeah, I think it's probably dog or pass. Like if I'm looking at this two older guys, McGee comes in at minus 190 against Matt Brown, who neither guy has really been winning that much like recently. I mean, McGee had a 2-fight win streak there and then gets knocked out by Jeremiah Wells, but Jeremiah Wells is like, he's got some Terminator power.
He's a freak.
He is an absolute freak with the power and the strength. So I don't put too much stock into that loss because I think he definitely should have lost that fight. But I'm just looking at the stats, and McGee's a little bit lands a little bit more than Matt Brown. Pretty similar, like across the board, though. So I think it's more closer to like a 50-50. I think it's kind of dog or pass in this spot. I know Matt Brown lost a split decision his last time out. I was at that fight, and I thought for sure Matt Brown won just with all the takedowns that he got on Brian Barberena in Columbus. I thought for sure he would get the nod by the judges, but he lost the split decision. 42 years old, though, it's like, I don't know how much confidence you can really have. But I do think it's closer to 50-50. So I'm going to say dog or pass for the sake of the show. I think Court McGee wins, but if I'm going to bet on it, I don't think I could get behind, minus 200 on Court McGee in this spot.